Welcome back, everybody. Today we're diving into a topic that I find fascinating: animal intuition.
Oh, it's an intriguing one for sure.
Yeah. You know, those times when animals seem to sense things? Things that are like beyond our human understanding, right?
Right.
So we're going to be looking at the book The Dreamer's Journey for this deep dive. And it's full of these really remarkable stories about these kinds of things.
It's a really fascinating area, where science and the unexplained kind of intersect.
Yeah, for sure. And the author, one of the things that really drew me into the book was his talk about his childhood fascination with elephants. And I've always been fascinated by elephants too.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of that comes from like nature documentaries.
absolutely.
And I think one of the things that has always stuck with me is this idea of elephant graveyards,
I-
you know?
Oh, yeah. Elephant graveyards have captivated people's imaginations for, centuries, really.
Yeah, yeah.
There's something about that blend of scientific curiosity and folklore that really draws you in.
Yeah. And I always wondered if there was any truth to that.
Some truth to it, yeah.
Yeah. And I always thought it was interesting, growing up and thinking, do elephants really have this sense of where they're going to die,
Right.
Okay, speaking of elephants, there's this one story in the book that really caught my eye. And it's about a man who rescued this group of elephants. And he formed this really strong bond with them
Oh, wow.
and eventually relocated them to a sanctuary. But years later, when this man passed away, the elephants, get this, they traveled for like 2 days straight from the reserve and arrived at his home on the day he died.
Wow. That's incredible. How could they possibly know?
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like they knew somehow.
It's like they went to pay their respects.
I know. It's crazy. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. Is it possible that they have like a heightened sense of smell
Interesting.
that allows them to, detect death from a distance or
Yeah. Or could it be something else like you know how they talk about like whales communicating through these sounds that we can't even hear?
oh, infrasound, yeah.
Yeah. Is it something like that going on?
Infrasound communication. Yeah, that's a real possibility. Elephants use these super low frequency sounds that travel over long distances,
Yeah.
way beyond our hearing range.
Oh, wow. So they could
Yeah.
be like picking up on something?
Yeah. They could be picking up on a distress call,
It's true.
or maybe some other type of signal related to, to his passing that we just don't understand.
Yeah.
And there's actually been some research suggesting that they use infrasound not just for communication, but also to sense like vibrations in the ground.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
which could like alert them to distant events. There was even a study, I think it was published in the journal Bioacoustics,
Wow.
where researchers were able to track elephant movements just by monitoring these signals.
Wow. So they're like plugged into the earth somehow.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sensing things that we're completely oblivious to.
Totally.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
That is incredible. And it really adds like another layer of complexity to their communication, that we didn't even realize was there.
Yeah.
But okay, so if they're picking up on this signal, wouldn't other elephants like nearby have reacted,
That's a good question.
And what made these particular elephants so connected to this one man?
Yeah. That's where it gets really interesting because we can study the sort of mechanics of how the infrasound works,
Sure.
but the emotional components, the depth of the bond they had, that's a whole other dimension that, science is only beginning to explore, really.
Right. Like there's this whole other dimension to their communication, and how they connect with each other and with us maybe that we're just not aware of.
And it makes you wonder about, about the depth of animal consciousness
Yeah.
and the kind of bonds they form.
Yeah.
It's really mind-blowing.
It really is. And this story definitely has sort of opened my mind to the possibilities, of what animals are capable of.
For sure, for sure.
Okay, so speaking of animals sensing things, beyond our perception, the book also talks about animal premonitions.
Ah, yes.
Like where they seem to know something's going to happen before it does.
Yeah, like they can anticipate events.
Yeah, exactly. And one example the author talks about are homing pigeons.
Oh, yeah.
Those birds that can be released like miles and miles away from home.
Miles away.
And they still find their way back. Like, how do they do that?
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like they have this built-in GPS.
It really is. It really is.
Or like some kind of internal compass,
Well, and that internal compass is something that scientists have been, studying for a long time. And there's a growing amount of evidence suggesting that birds, like homing pigeons, they have this incredible ability
Yeah.
called magnetoreception.
Magnetoreception, what is that?
It's basically the ability to sense the Earth's magnetic field.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like having, like you said, like a built-in GPS
Yeah.
that lets you navigate using magnetic cues. You know, and birds seem to have these special cells in their eyes and beaks
Whoa.
that are sensitive to these fields, so it gives them this internal map of the planet.
Whoa. So it's not just instinct.
It's not just instinct.
It's like there's an actual like physiological reason for why they're able to do that.
Right, exactly. There's a physical mechanism.
Yeah. That's so cool. Okay, so how does this tie into premonitions then?
Well, if they're sensitive to these subtle magnetic fluctuations, right?
Yeah.
It's possible that they could also be picking up on changes in the field
Right.
that happen before certain events. So, for example, some researchers believe that earthquakes and volcanic eruptions they actually cause like disturbances in the Earth's magnetic field,
Really?
and animals might be able to pick up on that.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's really cool. It suggests that they're they're tuned into this sensory world that's just beyond our perception.
Right.
It's like they have an early warning system
Oh, totally.
for these natural events.
Yeah, like they know it's coming before it actually hits.
Exactly.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so we can look at, we can try to come up with these scientific explanations, right?
Right.
But sometimes there are stories that you hear that just you can't really explain.
Right.
Like the one that the author tells about his ghost dog.
A ghost dog. Now that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so imagine this. The author, he had two dogs. Bruno, who was like this older mixed breed, and then there was this younger pit bull, kind of a, more assertive dog, and they both lived outside in kennels, right?
Okay.
And there was some tension between them, like
Yeah.
you get with dogs sometimes,
Territorial stuff.
Yeah. Sadly, it escalated into a fight, and Bruno, the older dog, he didn't make it.
Oh no.
The author's cousin was home alone at the time, and she couldn't, there was nothing she could do.
Oh, how awful.
It was really a hard thing for everyone.
Yeah. Feeling so helpless in that situation.
Yeah.
Must have been just awful.
So here's the really creepy part of the story.
Okay.
About a week after Bruno passed away, the author and his cousin are watching TV, right?
Okay.
And the author, he's sitting where he can't see the hallway that leads to the back door, but his cousin has a clear view, right?
Okay.
And all of a sudden, the author hears these footsteps.
Footsteps.
Yeah. Like distinct, like paws on the tile floor
Right.
coming from the back door,
Oh.
crossing the kitchen. And he just assumes, it's Bruno, right? Right.
Coming to, check on them.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right. Your mind just kind of like goes there.
Yeah, your mind's trying to like make sense of things, especially when you're grieving.
Right. Yeah.
And your senses can like play tricks on you, especially when you're
totally.
really wanting something.
Totally.
You might start to hear it or see it.
Yeah. But here's the thing. His cousin who didn't hear anything, right?
Okay.
All of a sudden gasps and
Yeah.
says, "I swear, I just saw Bruno walk by."
Oh, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
So they both have like a Bruner experience, but different ones.
I know, right?
Oh.
And to make things even weirder, they went to check the back door and it was locked
Locked the whole time.
the whole time.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that.
I know. It's just crazy, right?
So could it be like some kind of, shared grief thing?
I don't know.
Where it like manifests in a physical way?
Yeah.
Or could it be something else, It is. It's a question that the author, he leaves us with. And I think it's a question that leads us down this path of, exploring this whole idea of animal intuition and what it really means.
Yeah. It really blurs the lines between, what we think we know and what might actually be possible.
Yeah, totally. It really does.
Definitely raises more questions than it answers, that's for sure.
Totally. It does. And I think that's one of the things that I find so fascinating about it, because it makes you really question, like, what do we really know about the world around us and the creatures that we share it with,
Absolutely. It's like we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah. And maybe there's so much more going on than we even realize.
Oh, I think there definitely is. And I think animals might be the key to to unlocking some of those mysteries.
Right.
If we just pay attention
Yeah, exactly.
and really listen.
Listen to what they have to tell us.
Exactly.
And, I think that's a great place to maybe take a break and we'll come back and talk more about this.
So good. Okay.
Looking forward to it.